Hey everyone, welcome to week 8. What I wanted to do was to kind of create a video because I realized that I haven't created a video in a while and just kind of give you an update on things, how class is going, and talk about the week 8 agenda. There's a couple things you'll notice this week with week 8. So we are done with It Can't Happen Here, and there's a real short kind of research paper that is due. It only needs to be 3 pages. If you want it to be longer, that's fine. I'm not sure what our class thought of It Can't Happen Here. At times Lewis can be a really hard and difficult writer. He's got a great premise, of an imaginary dictatorship that arrives in America, and it clearly ties into the ideas that we see with rhetoric and argument. And I tried to keep some of the quizzes pretty easy. I wanted you guys, if you hit a wall with kind of Lewis's writing style, I didn't want you to have too hard of a time with the quizzes. So we're kind of just wrapping up that aspect of class. And then there's just kind of a short paper that's due. It's worth 100 points, and I'm giving a little bit longer for you to do it. You can complete it by, I think the due date is October 13th. We're going to shift and look at 2 new arguments. One is called the Hegelian argument. One is called stasis theory. They're both really cool, really fun. We can start looking at sort of specific types of arguments. And then we are going to shift to MLA. So I wanted to just kind of briefly talk about MLA. MLA is kind of hard to teach online. I think even on a ground class, MLA can be very formulaic and very boring. So let me just talk a little bit about MLA. So MLA stands for Modern Language Association, and it's basically the structure of how you turn in a sort of a research paper for an English class. And what you're going to basically do is you're going to create what is called an annotated bibliography. And we're going to basically focus on how to works cite 3 things. We're going to talk about how to works cite a book. We're going to talk about how to works cite articles within a book, and then we'll talk about how to works cite websites. So for this week, we're really going to focus on 2 things. We're going to talk about how to works cite a book with one author. And so what I've done, and this confused students the last time I did this, but I've just sort of created an imaginary book. It's an imaginary book. I want you to imagine that I have a New York Times best-selling book. It's called Is COVID Over Yet? God, I'm a Terrible Online Instructor. And you're going to see in the module, there's going to be all sorts of information that I'm going to provide you on how to works cite my fake imaginary book. And then I kind of walk you through in the module how you'd works cite the book. And then what you're going to do is you're going to write 2 paragraphs. So imagine you're just writing a regular essay, but you're going to have 2 paragraphs. So the first paragraph is just going to be, your reaction to the fact I have a New York Times best-selling book. And it can be as short as you want, and you don't have to put a lot of effort into it. And at the end, I want you to just make up a quote from my book and add a proper in-text citation. And then in the second paragraph, I just want to know what you thought of It Can't Happen Here, and then I want you to add a quote and a proper in-text citation. And then you're going to have a second page in which you just works cite, and you have 2 works cited entries. You have my fake New York Times best-selling book, and then you have It Can't Happen Here. And the one thing to just remember is a works cited page is always a separate page on its own by itself, and that it basically should just say works cited, and it should have two entries, again, my book and It Can't Happen Here, and it's always arranged in alphabetical order. And as you go through the modules, it should be pretty self-explanatory. I've had some students who've sometimes been confused, so if I see some confusion, I'll come and try to make a better lecture on it. But we are going to do MLA, and then we're going to shift. We're going to use stasis theory. We're going to look at stasis theory in terms of, to shift to our next essay, which we'll look at an essay that deals with feminism. But I just wanted to give you an update on week 8, and so you kind of know what the agenda is. And then if you have any questions, you can email me or visit me during my Zoom office hours, and we'll just start rolling from there. Alrighty, good luck, have a great week, bye.